Right, welcome back to another video. I am on more familiar ground tonight. I'm down Mudeford. So no venturing out to sea, no venturing out to the Bristol Channel. As I'm sure a lot of you know, the week that I'm filming this is the second week of the half terms down here. And I got the week off work and I thought, great, I better get out to sea, go on some big adventures, catch lots of fish. And we've had terrible weather. It's been, well, a fair amount of rain. It looks beautiful tonight, don't get me wrong. The winds have just calmed down. But it's been strong winds. It's been onshore winds. It's been pretty minging. We've had a fair amount of rain. So it's ruled out the boat. I'm hoping there might be a weather window towards the end of the week, which I'll, keep an eye out for, but we'll see. So anyway, I've come down to Mudeford for a bit of fishing. I've got a big session tomorrow for a bit of a smoothhound hunt, the first kind of real session for smoothhounds of the year. And what better place to stock up on a bit of bait and have some fishing than Mudeford Quay. So as you would have seen, I've got the net out, catching some crabs. I did order some peeler, which I've got in the freezer. But of course, keen to try and get some fresh peeler, if I can, off the quay today, ahead of my smoothhound session tomorrow. And catch some bass. Can't beat a good bit of sunset bass fishing. So that's what we're here for. But don't be fooled, this is not the weather that we've had all week. Otherwise I would be out on the boat. Now in terms of tactics, I've gone for a simple 2-hook flapper with a size 1 Chinook hook on the right hand rod, which has got a scrap of ragworm on. And the left hand rod is a earth rig with about 2 or 3 foot of fluorocarbon down to a 3/0 circle hook with a bit of peeler crab. Some peeler that I brought with me, which of course, smoothhound, bass, all of that good stuff will love a bit of peeler. Everything loves peeler. For those that remember from last year, I fished here in March of 2024 and I had my first smoothhound of the season from this very spot. So potentially a little smoothhound. It was a very little one. We're a bit later in the year, so potentially there are more about. It would be good to see one of them. Obviously, bass is also on the menu, as I said. Not on the menu to take. I'm not going to take any today, but if we can find some, I'd be happy with that. So fingers crossed, we have a good session. Look at that peeler crab. Now it is crazy the prices that people will charge for peeler. The most I've seen it for is about £2 a crab, which if you're sending out a whole peeler per cast, that's £2 a cast. So hence why I'm down here to try and find some myself. I've stocked up for enough that will see me through, I guess, the next few months of smoothhound fishing and my Cornwall trip, which I am obviously going all out for gillheads. Got a bit of slack line there. Let's check that. Yeah, we're good. Yes, the more I can stock up on, the better. Now, I got down here about an hour or so before slack tide. The tide was just ebbing out. I say just ebbing out, it was a fairly strong ebb, as it often is down the Mudeford Run. But the tide has changed now, and as you can probably see, it is starting to flood in quite nicely, which you often find, in my experience, whenever I've fished here, tends to fish better than the ebb. Also, you tend to get a bit of weed and crap basically come out of the harbour on the ebb. So it can be a little bit easier fishing on the flood. So I know, of course, I've done videos from Mudeford before, but it is a lovely place to fish. For those of you that don't know or haven't fished it before, it is a quay that we're right next to the car park, so it's really accessible, pretty much fish out your boot fishing. The usual suspects to target here are going to be your bass. You can get the odd other species that turn up, but bass fishing here is pretty much your mainstay. Lots of people lure fish as well, so you can lure fish off the quay for bass, you can bait fish. You can do all sorts, but it's good fun. Now, the buoys that you can probably see behind me to my side here, they come out around October, November each year, and they go back in the water, normally from the Easter break, so around now, kind of April time. But the channel changes every single year. It's always interesting to see what the storms and the big swells that we get come in do to the landscape here in the seabed. It is a buoyage system that catches a lot of people out every year. It's one of those, if you don't have local knowledge, if you don't know where the channel is, then it can be quite treacherous, even with the buoyage system here, and especially if you're navigating it in winter when there are no buoys. I know Fat Tomo, I think, he once described it as an entrance which keeps the numpties out, which I always find quite funny. All right, let's have a look to see how our net's doing. This has been down here for probably an hour and 15. A little bit snagged on some of them. There she is. Fair few in there. Put some fresh bait in. I'll check them for peelers later. Most of the hardbacks will go because I've got quite a few in the freezer. Big lump of mackerel. Down she goes. That flood tide is trying to carry it around this edge now. There might be a bit of a school coming through. Yeah, my left rod's still getting taps. Alright, we're about an hour into this flood tide now, and the rods are starting to get a bit of bites, a bit of action on them. This rod here, the one that's getting the taps, is a 3/0 circle hook with the peeler on, so it's a fairly big hook. So if it is very small schooly bass, they might not hook themselves. They definitely can if they wanted to. But if they are nipping at the bait, or it could be whiting, we still have whiting knocking around. Either way, it's a good sign. It's life. Alright, first fish of the night it seems. What are you calling, bass?
Nah.
No?
Might be doggy. Not fighting at all. Oh, no.
It's a little bass, I think.
There might be tiddler.
Yeah, a little schoolie. There you go.
Beautiful.
Nice. First bass of the year, is it?
Yeah.
That was a bite. I pulled the rod over then. You hooked himself? I just put a sand eel on this one. Yeah. How's he not hooked himself? Interesting. I'll put that down, it'll go off again now. Right, well, whilst we're waiting for the fish to kick off, which it seems like it's about to, a little bit of an update. And you might have already seen my post that I put on my YouTube page a few days ago from now. Probably by the time you've seen this, it might be a couple of weeks ago. Firstly, a massive thank you. Thank you to everyone that supported the channel over the last year or two, really, that it's been around. The channel's actually grown more in the last 3 months, the first 3 months of 2025, than it did in the whole of 2024. That is in terms of its views, subscribers, everything. So a massive thank you. I really do appreciate that. Consequence of that is I'm keen to continue to bring, hopefully, good content to the channel that's going to be engaging, enjoyable to watch, that kind of stuff. So you might have already seen it hopefully by now. The pattern that's been uploaded, or I've been uploading to even, is every 5 PM on a Monday I will be uploading a video. I've recorded a fair few videos over the last week or two, so I've got a bit of a backlog. So if I can't get out, if I can't, due to the weather, due to life, whatever, then I've still got an upload. There might be gaps every now and then, especially as we get back into the winter fishing. But for sure over summer, you can expect an upload every 5 PM on a Monday. So hopefully there's a bit of consistency and you'll know there's going to be something to watch start of the week. I'm still getting knocks on that right hand side rod now. I'm going to have to rebait it maybe. You off again, yeah? You found the honey hole, you have. Alright, I'm just pulling in big clumps of weed is all I'm getting. Still counts.
Yeah.
Those are definitely bites. Oh. It's not a bass. Pout him. Right, well, I'm off the mark with a very lively, off the mark with a little pouting. Let's try and find some bass because I don't want to go in with just that. My other rod is tapping away, so we could have one. Right, well, I mentioned I've got some peeler crab with me tonight. Look at that. What does it catch more, anglers or fish? As I say, they go for about £2, I've seen at some bait dealers and tackle shops per crab, but they are good bait. The fish do like it. It's just full of goodness, all soft and mushy and fish magnet. Whilst this rig's out of the water, I've just rebaited it. I'll give you a quick show as to what I am fishing with today without breaking my rod. So one rod, the one that's in the water at the moment, is a 2-hook flapper, as I mentioned earlier, so I won't show you that, it's pretty simple. This is my earth rig. So I've got an earth bar there, just clipped straight onto my weight. And then, what's that? 2 foot, just over 2 foot of fluoro with a 3/0 circle on a perfection hoop or perfection loop. And then my peeler crab at the bottom there. Let's lob it out. Right, time to bring in this crab net. It's been in there now for a few hours. I've just left it down there whilst I've been fishing. If anything, well, I think I lost some. Well, a few in there. 1, 2. Tell you what, I think a couple actually look like peelers. Oh, there we go. We have some bait. Right, well, my mum's had the odd bass out, and I've had just pouting really. But as you can probably see, picking off the line here, we're getting plagued by a lot of weed, which is a little bit annoying. And I think if it wasn't for this, we'd probably be into more of the fish, because they're definitely here and they're definitely feeding. It's just trying to keep your hooks not covered in it. But as that flood tide has come in, the fish have definitely come in on the feed as well. So there is that. We haven't blanked. Interestingly though, all the fish have come to worm baits. None to crab, none to peeler. But there you go. Which is fine, it just means I'm going to have more for my smooth down session tomorrow. Right guys, well this is our last cast. It's not been as productive as we would have hoped for. I think the weed has really hassled us all the night, but between the both of us, we had a few bass, a few pouting, and a bit of fun fishing for a few hours on an evening, so can't complain about that. Of course, the main reason for me coming down here was to stock up on some baits, some crab baits, of course, ahead of my big smooth hound session tomorrow, the first one of the season. So look out for that video. That will be coming up next after this one, of course, next week, Monday at 5 PM. If you do come down here, as I say, I always like to come down here, just almost like a filler session down here, I like to call it. It's a really easy mark, really easy to access, really easy to fish from. You know, the car's 10 meters away, so I'm packed up and gone within no time if I want to be. So I do encourage you to come fish it. If you're coming down to Dorset for a little trip, whatever, fishing trip, it's a nice place, a bit of easy fishing. And of course, you can stock up on some bait. Of course, if you are going to come down here and get some crab, only take what you need. You could quite easily take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of crabs here. But again, with anything, when we're taking fish from the sea, whether we're taking foraging for food, for bait, whatever, just take what you need. So I hope you've enjoyed that little one, and I'll see you on the next one.